What is good with the YouTube? It is your boy, Sean Rock to the represent Mandatory Thrive HGBM, because every day it is mandatory for us to thrive. And I am back again with another video. In this video, I want to talk real quick about work ethic and how work ethic generally is the great equalizer, the great separator, or pretty much a tool to surpass people when you're on your journey to being the best version of yourself. Now, ultimately in our lives, we really don't want to push to be better than other people. We want to push to be the best version of ourselves, because if you're at the top of the food chain, meaning you're the most elite, but you haven't given your max effort, it really holds no weight. Right? Because you know internally that you haven't given your max effort. Now, if you can see on my screen, this is my screensaver, and on the screensaver you have three people in particular that I want to talk about. I don't have Kobe on this, but I wish I had Kobe on this screensaver. But I want to talk about Kanye West, Tupac, and Floyd Mayweather. And when you think about these three leaders, we know them for various different things that they've done. All of the accomplishments that they have. Kanye West in particular, great fashion designer, great MC, great beat maker, now self-made billionaire. Talk about Tupac. I would call Tupac one of the hardest working men in rap history. I mean, his body of work for the time that he was alive is mind-blowing, right? What he accomplished. I mean, he accomplished having more music than guys that's been around 20 plus years. And he's been dead 20 plus years. But it's based on his work ethic. And then you have another guy, my favorite athlete of all time, which is Floyd Mayweather. Now, here's something that you can see about all three of these different people. Nobody really generally expected them to become what they'll become. What they became. No one expected them to do what they did. Even Kobe. Kobe's not on here, but Kobe as well. Let's look at Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was deemed to be what I would call a fighter with the Cuban curse. What is the Cuban curse? The Cuban curse is pretty much a black fighter who has the skills to pay the bills, but they don't have the crossover appeal, the markability, or the sellability to be a big primetime star. And for the bulk of Floyd Mayweather's beginning of his career, he was deemed as just that. He was deemed as a fighter who would not cross over, a fighter that would not be marketable, a fighter that just would be a dangerous fight that wouldn't sell. And his promoter and everybody around him believed him to be that. However, Floyd Mayweather believed different. And he took on a certain role inside the ring and outside the ring that basically demonstrates hard work and dedication. And he worked just as hard in the ring as he worked outside of the ring, which was a great equalizer of hard work. And then he became the biggest, most marketable, the highest paid, highest gate athlete based on his own personal self-belief in himself, right? Now let's just think, if he would have just accepted the Cuban curse, he would have been a great fighter who made average money and never crossed over. But because of his belief in himself, because of his work ethic, and because of his determination, he became much more than that. Same thing with Kanye West. If you follow Kanye West's story, he was deemed as a dude, we'll listen to your raps for about 2 minutes so we can get your beats, bruh. But the rapping, you need to just let that go. You know, let that go, because you can't rap. Now, if he would have followed that and listened to those people, he wouldn't be who he is today, right? But instead, he had an instinctive belief, along with a work ethic, that surpassed anybody. And he paid for all of his first, promotion. He did his own first video. He did his whole first album and put the money behind it, right? And now he is arguably one of the most influential artists of this time and fashion design. Why? Work ethic and belief. Now, Tupac, he was around in an era where albums was important, very important. In a typical rapper album during this time, we loved these albums, so we sat with these albums for many years. Was like typically a year and a half, 2 years. It took a typical real hip hop head to make an album, and it was because the content was so packed and it was so intense, and it was just during an era where album sales were big, so artists had to really take their craft serious and really put projects out that took a long time. However, Tupac Shakur, he changed the game. He did his album in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And his philosophy was work, because tomorrow is never promised. So what does all of that mean? Is that it's very, very simple. You want to be great, your work ethic has to be the great equalizer. Right? Talent will fail. Hell, even skill will fail if the work ethic is not applied to that philosophy in action. It has to be applied in action in order for it to come to fruition. And it's going to be almost sickening, extreme, and to some people viewed as toxic. Now, in my personal life, I deem this to be true because this same exact theory I did with calisthenics. I'm 3 years into my calisthenics journey, and I can do some pretty impressive stuff. And it's coming from that same philosophy of work ethic and dedication, will and belief. So, if you want to be great at whatever it is you do, you're going to have to be willing to work more than everyone else. You're going to have to be willing to do what everybody else is not willing to do. You're going to have to put in the hours that no one else is willing to put in. You're going to have to suffer in order to succeed. And if you don't believe me, just take a look at these great people right here. 3 people who've made their mark on the world. Now just think if they didn't work hard. Just think about that. Okay, if they didn't work hard, they wouldn't be there. But just think about how many more Kanye Wests that's in the world who wouldn't work as hard as him. Think about how many more Tupacs that's in the world that just wouldn't work as hard as him. Just think about how many Floyd Mayweathers that's in the world that just didn't work as hard as him. You don't be the unknown Kanye West, the unknown Tupac, or the unknown Floyd Mayweather in whatever field that's in. Whether that's in being a business owner, a janitor, a garbage man, a rapper, a singer, an athlete, an author, a computer designer, a fashion designer, a hair supplier, a hairstylist, a nail stylist, a makeup artist, a supplement maker, a furniture maker, a car dealer, a food seller, a pastor, a lawyer, a doctor, an analyst, a YouTuber, a blogger, a writer, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you have to have a ferocious, intense, undying, consistent, diligent, resilient work ethic. So I hope this video helps, man. Remember, dream big, work hard, live great, don't stop. It's your boy Sean Rock Titter. I'm signing out. Peace.